The fully enlightened preless one, with the sublime doctrine and noble order, do I respectfully salute. May all beings be free from enmity and danger. May all beings be free from mental suffering. May all beings be free from physical pain. May they take care of themselves happily. Welcome to Abhidhamma class. So now I want to explain Abhidhammata Sangaha. This is the second lecture. I start to explain Abhidhamma. So Abhidhamma is the one section of Tipitaka, but Abhidhamma is the very wide, easy to understand Abhidhamma. We must learn, we must study Abhidhammata Sangaha. If we learn these small commentary books, we can understand Abhidhamma. Abhidhammata Sangaha, it is written by Venerable Anuruddha. How we can know the higher teaching of the Buddha? The Buddha taught Dhamma and Vinaya. Dhamma means doctrine. Dhamma means doctrine. Vinaya means rule. But the Dhamma, the doctrine, divide again two groups: Sutta Pitaka and Abhidhamma Pitaka. These two groups are we call Dhamma, and Vinaya Pitaka are we call Vinaya. Dhamma and Vinaya. But why the Dhamma is divided two groups? Because Sutta Pitaka is focused to explain the individual being. Many sutta explain the Buddha focused to explain, focused to thought individual being, because the Buddha know different characteristic of the being, and he taught individual sutta, so many individual sutta. We call Rahula Vada Sutta. It is focused to make understood Rahula, and sometimes Sariputta Sutta. It is mean only focus to understand for Sariputta, not for other. So it is mean try to know individual teaching is we call Sutta Pitaka. In Sutta Pitaka, sometimes not focus the individual, focus the all being. We can see many sutta also, like the Dhammacakka Pavutana Sutta, not focus for only one person. It is focused for all being. But so many sutta are focused to explain individual, because different characteristics. But Abhidhamma Pitaka is not focused to explain only for one person. It is explain only the natural Dhamma, for everyone, not only for me, not only for you, for all. The natural Dhamma. So it is we call Abhidhamma. Abhidhamma means higher doctrine. Okay, higher doctrine. So Abhidhamma Pitaka not focus individual being, only focus what is the doctrine, what is the natural, what is the characteristic of being, why we got suffering, and how we can come out from this suffering. Who create this suffering? Something like that. To explain the detailedly only the universal Dhamma, the natural Dhamma, the natural doctrine, not focus individual. So that it is the higher teaching. So I want to explain what is the meaning of the higher teaching. Before explain Abhidhammata Sangaha, I have to explain the background history of Abhidhamma. Before explain the Abhidhamma, I have to explain the background history, because background history is very important. Why I want to explain the background history also? Because Abhidhamma not direct teach from the Buddha in the human world. In the human world, Abhidhamma is not direct teaching from the Buddha. It is indirect teaching. So now in the Buddhism, Abhidhamma Pitaka is teach from Sariputra. Sariputta is teach direct to the human, to his student. So this idea, this all Abhidhamma teaching, Abhidhamma idea, Abhidhamma knowledge, it is came from Buddha. The Buddha taught in heaven world. Sariputta taught in human world. The finish together. Start the same date. Start the same date and finish the same date. The final date is the Buddha taught in heaven world and finished, and Sariputta taught in human world finished together. But some professional or some people issues Abhidhamma Pitaka. They argument. Some people argue Abhidhamma Pitaka, not want to accept, because they think this Abhidhamma Pitaka not teaching direct from the Buddha, so that some people not want to accept. They issues, they argue. It is not teaching of the Buddha, it is the teaching of the Sariputta. Sariputta means the higher student of the Buddha, the great student. He was very higher knowledge, so that we call higher student of the Buddha in the knowledge. So very important to know the background history. The Buddha, after 6 years of enlightenment, in the 7 vasa, in 3 months, in the rainy season, the Buddha went to the heaven world to teach this Abhidhamma Pitaka. Abhidhamma Pitaka background history is start from the Buddha after enlightened within the 4 weeks after enlightenment, 21st to 28. So 1 week 7 days. So 2 weeks 14 days, and 3rd week 21st finish. And within the 4th week, the Buddha do sitting meditation at the Ratanagara near the Bodhi tree. So at that time, the Buddha was contemplate full Abhidhamma Pitaka. He intention full Abhidhamma Pitaka, and he not yet teach within the 6 years, 7 years of after enlightenment. The Buddha taught this Abhidhamma Pitaka at the heaven wall. The Buddha went from the July full moon day to the heaven wall, the second wall. This heaven wall name we know Tawatimsa heaven wall. He went to the heaven wall to teach Abhidhamma Pitaka. Why Buddha not teach this Abhidhamma Pitaka at the human wall? Because this Abhidhamma is higher teaching, higher doctrine. So the human cannot understood in detail. The Buddha not want the useless his teaching. He want useful his teaching, so that he went to the heaven wall. Gods and Brahma, Deva and Brahma, they have good knowledge, good remember, so that Buddha taught in heaven wall, because Deva and Brahma understood in detail, so that the Buddha went to the heaven wall. If Buddha teach in detail at the human wall, human cannot remember detailedly and widely. So that Buddha went to the heaven wall to teach Abhidhamma Pitaka. Not only this Buddha, all the Buddha, every Buddha teach the Abhidhamma Pitaka at the heaven wall. Buddha start to teach from July, the evening of July full moon day. After 6 years of enlightenment, within the 7 years in the rainy season, he went from this human world to heaven world, and he started to taught this Abhidhamma Pitaka. Thousand and thousand million Deva and Brahma came from many worlds to listening the Dhamma. Many Deva and Brahma came near the Buddha to listening this Abhidhamma teaching. Buddha teach Abhidhamma 90 days, but the Buddha physical body, the Buddha body is human body. He have to take food, so that Buddha came every day from the heaven world to human world to receive the food. The Buddha not came the South Island. Now we are live in South Islands, big islands. The Buddha explained the big 4 islands: East, West, North and South. The Buddha arises in the South Iceland. It is called in Pali Dakkhina Jambudipa. The Buddha arises in South Island, but Buddha not came from the heaven world to the South Iceland. He came for receive the food. He came to receive the food to the North Islands. He came every day from heaven world to human world to receive the food. After take the food, the Buddha back to the heaven world. At that time, Sariputta went to meet the Buddha. And at that time, Sariputta asked the question, Venerable Lord Buddha, what you teach in the heaven world today? So the Buddha explained, yes, I teach yesterday these topics, Hetu Pacayo, Aramana Pacayo, something like. He explained in the shortly, in the briefly, so briefly, so shortly, because Sariputta is the great student. He can understood widely. The Buddha no need to explain in detail. The Buddha explained only the shortly. Sariputta understood very detailedly. But Sariputta cannot teach to the people, for human in detail, because this Abhidhamma is higher doctrine, so not easy to understand in detail. So that Sariputta teach again in the middle. The Buddha taught this Abhidhamma at the heaven world very detailedly, and the Buddha taught again to the Sariputta in briefly, in shortly, and Sariputta understood very widely, and he teach again to his 500 students, 500 monks. Every day they listen Abhidhamma from Sariputta. Sariputta listen Abhidhamma from the Buddha every day, and he teach this Abhidhamma every day to his 500 students, 500 monks. It was new student. When the Buddha went to the heaven world, 500 men become the follower of Sariputta, the student of Sariputta, and Sariputta taught his student every day in middle, not briefly and not widely, in the middle. Those 500 students can understood very well. So Sariputta make the middle to explain this Abhidhamma Pitaka, because Sariputta cannot teach in detail. Everyone cannot understand. So if not understand, it is useless, not useful. So that the Buddha not want to become the useless. Sariputta not want to become useless, this teaching. So they want to become useful, so that Buddha want to teach in detail. He want to show his knowledge power. How the great knowledge. He want to show all the being who is the Buddha, what is the meaning of the Buddha, so that he went to the heaven world, so that all Deva and Brahma are respect the Buddha, because they listen the Abhidhamma from the Buddha, and they knew the Buddha is the great people, great teacher for the being, for the human, for the Deva and for Brahma, for all being. The Buddha is the great teacher. So every Deva and Brahma respects the Buddha, because he want to show his knowledge power. The Buddha teach only if the being not understand, it is useless. So that the Buddha's check by the knowledge, who can understand in detail my teaching. Human cannot understand in detail, so that the Buddha cannot teach at the human world. And Buddha went to the heaven world, and he teach very detailedly 90 days, full 90 days, non-stop. So here one question: when Buddha came to the human world every day, we think that teach Abhidhamma time. He came every day for 2 or 3 hours to receive the food at human world. And who teach at that time? To Deva and Brahma. So Buddha create the second Buddha from his power, because the Buddha is great power at the knowledge, mental power. He have the mental power, so he create the second Buddha. Still he not arise from the human world. This second Buddha teach the Abhidhamma continually. He make the determine. He make the determine. The Buddha create from his mental power to another Buddha to explain Abhidhamma. When he go to the human world, at that time the second Buddha, we known in Pali Nimitta Buddha. Nimitta means it is created from the Buddha, from his mental power. He create another Buddha only for a short time. The Buddha, the original Buddha, when came every day to the human world to receive the food, at that time he create like the Buddha, like really similar the Buddha face. And Deva and Brahma, they don't know it is the second Buddha. They don't know. They think, they thought it is the real Buddha, because the Buddha create the real similar face and body. But real Buddha came to the human world every day. At that time, Sariputta went to meet the Buddha, and the Buddha explained in the briefly this Abhidhamma Pitaka to the Sariputta, and Sariputta taught his student every day in the middlely, not briefly and not widely, in the middle way, So it is the background of the Abhidhamma. So I want to conclude the shortly. This Abhidhamma Pitaka, the Buddha contemplation after 3 weeks of enlightenment at the Ratanagara near Bodhi tree. He contemplation this Abhidhamma Pitaka, and he taught this Abhidhamma Pitaka at the heaven wall within the 7 vasa. At that time, he came every day to the human wall. Sariputta meet the Buddha every day, and he listened the Dhamma from the Buddha, and he teach again to his student. The direct teaching from Sariputta, but this all idea, this all knowledge came from the Buddha. Sariputta taught this Abhidhamma to his student, and second day he met the Buddha, and he told to the Buddha, Lord Buddha, I taught these topics to my student like this, it is correct or not? When Sariputta explained to the Buddha again, I taught to my student like this, it is correct or not? Sariputta asks every day after he teach his student. The Buddha agree to the Sariputta. So the Buddha agree, Sariputta, so it is mean we call Buddha teaching, not Sariputta teaching. Sariputta known from the Buddha, and he share this knowledge to his student, not Sariputta own idea. This Abhidhamma Pitaka idea from the Buddha. So the Buddha agree with the Sariputta, so that we call it is teaching of the Buddha. It is the background history of Abhidhamma. So we should not argue, we should not issues, because the Buddha not teach directly to the human, but the Buddha agree with his great student Sariputta. Sariputta teaching is correct. The Buddha agree. The Buddha told you teaching is correct. This is my idea. I want to teach like this. So Buddha agree with his student, so that we call the teaching of the Buddha. So Abhidhamma Pitaka is higher teaching. So how we can know this higher teaching? Because this knowledge related to the liberation, related to the Nibbana. It is deal with the Nibbana. So we want to know, everyone, the Buddhist people, everyone want to know Abhidhamma very well. So how we can know this Abhidhamma? So Abhidhamma is very wide for human. The Sariputta teach the middle, but in this century people, the concentration is very lower level, not like the Buddha time. At the Buddha time, people good concentration and good remember, they can remember by heart this Abhidhamma Pitaka. In this century, difficult to remember and difficult to know. So, how we can know this Abhidhamma Pitaka very well? So, we have to focus commentary books. Venerable Anuruddha, one great monk in Sri Lanka, the Buddha after Parinibbana, 15th century. 15th century of Buddhist era, Buddha era. In 15th century at Sri Lanka, one great teacher, great monk, whose name was Anuruddha. He explained, he wrote one book. The book name is Abhidhamma Sangaha. He wrote the very small book to understand Abhidhamma in briefly. We study in the briefly, but we can know Abhidhamma Pitaka very well. This book, Abhidhamma Sangaha, this book very helpful for every student to understand the Abhidhamma Pitaka. So, if we want to know the seventh section of Abhidhamma Pitaka, so we have to study Abhidhamma Sangaha. This Abhidhamma Sangaha, Venerable Anuruddha wrote in briefly to understand Abhidhamma Pitaka. I want to explain Abhidhamma Sangaha because it is helpful to understand Abhidhamma Pitaka. How we can know in the short time? So we have to focus. We must focus Abhidhamma Sangaha. And this book, Abhidhamma Sangaha, is become very famous commentary books to understand the Abhidhamma Pitaka, because really helpful to everyone in the short time. So, in Abhidhamma Sangaha, Venerable Anuruddha started to write. The first topic is consciousness, and second topic is mental factor. Start like this. There we can, in Abhidhamma Sangaha, we can see 9 chapters. We can see 9 chapters. It is start from consciousness. So, if we want to know Abhidhamma Pitaka, we have to follow Abhidhamma Sangaha rule or method every topics. So, why we call Abhidhamma is higher teaching of the Buddha. In Abhidhamma Pitaka, the Buddha explained 4 ultimate truth, 4 ultimate realities, Chitta, Chittasika, Rupa, Nibbana, and conventional truth. Ultimate truth, conventional truth. Reality of consciousness, reality of mental factors, and reality of matter, and reality of Nibbana. This is 4 ultimate realities. So, ultimate realities, ultimate truth, and another one, conventional truth. The Buddha explained the Sutta Pitaka, he focused the conventional truth. When he explained the Abhidhamma, he focused, he main focus ultimate truth, ultimate reality. Buddha explained 5 things in Abhidhamma. So what are they? Chitta, Cetasika, Rupa, Nibbana, and then conventional truth. These 4 are we call ultimate truth, ultimate reality. In full Abhidhamma, we must know only 5 things: Chitta, Cetasika, Rupa, Nibbana, and Pangyati. It is called Paramatha. Paramatha. In Pali we call Paramatha Satya. In English, ultimate truth, ultimate reality. 4 Paramatha Satya and 1 Pangyati. Samuti Satya. Samuti Satya means conventional truth. Paramatha Satya means ultimate truth. So, shortly, we must know 2 realities: ultimate realities and ordinary realities. Ultimate truth, conventional truth. So in Pali, Paramatha Satya and Samuti Satya. Paramatha Satya is Chitta, Cetasika, Rupa, Nibbana. Everyone can understood conventional teaching. Ultimate teaching is very difficult because no I, no you, no people, no man, no being. When we focus to teach Abhidhamma, at that time we cannot find man, human, being. We cannot find any being. We can see just only Chitta, Cetasika, Rupa, Nibbana. And Chitta is not human. Chitta is not Deva. Chitta is not Brahma. Chitta is not animal. Chitta is Chitta. Conventional. Conventional means man, human, Deva, Brahma, human, animal, something like so many names. It is we call conventional truth. But in Abhidhamma, the Buddha not focus the conventional truth, but he explained also what is the conventional truth. What is the Samuti Satya and what is the Paramatha Satya. Samuti Satya means only just for use, but not real. This is my book and this is your book. It is the conventional truth. It is the conventional, just only for use. Actually not my book and not your books, because no I, no you. So that sometimes very difficult to understand why Buddha teach not man, not Deva, not Brahma, not beings, just only call. Actually we cannot find the I, we cannot find the you, we cannot find the Deva, we cannot find the Brahma, we cannot find the beings. We can find just only Chitta, Cetasika, Rupa, Nibbana. How the activity, how they are processing, so that the Buddha explained very detailedly, so that we call Abhidhamma is higher teaching of the Buddha. This teaching only from the Buddha, no other being cannot teach like this way. Only the Buddha. Other people only can explain conventional truth, a simple level. The Buddha explained the higher level. So, who study Abhidhamma, he really proud the Buddha. He really respects the Buddha. Who know Abhidhamma very well, he cannot stay without proud the Buddha, without respect the Buddha. We cannot stay, we cannot live, because we want to respect, we want to follow, because we learn Abhidhamma, we study Abhidhamma, and we know, oh, the Buddha is the great people, great teacher, something like. So without respect the Buddha, without proud the Buddha, we cannot live. If we know Abhidhamma teaching, so in Abhidhamma the Buddha explained 4 ultimate realities and conventional truth. Now I'm going to explain 4 ultimate truth, 4 ultimate reality first. Chitta, Cetasika, Rupa, Nibbana. In Abhidhamma Sangaha, from 1st chapter to 5th chapter, Venerable Anuruddha wrote, explained how consciousness and Cetasika, mental factor, how they are processing, how their activity, how arise and how they changing, how they help each other. So chapter 1 to chapter 5, Venerable Anuruddha explained Chitta and Cetasika. First topic is Chitta, and second topic is the Cetasika, and third and fourth and 5. Chapter 3, 4, 5 are explain consciousness and mental factor processing. Chapter number 6 about the matter, okay, we call Rupa. And then chapter 7, chapter 8, chapter 9. Chapter 9 explain about the meditation, the kind of meditation. And chapter number 7 and 8, the Venerable Anuruddha wrote many things. Abhidhamma Sangaha is very popular text in Theravada Buddhism. These 4 ultimate truths, Chitta, Cetasika, Rupa, every time changing. Their processing is every time changing, suffering, impermanence. The Buddha explained anicca, dukkha, anatma. The Buddha explained anicca, dukkha, anatma is not the nibbana. The Buddha explained consciousness, mental factor, and matter. This all they are processing. Their original processing is they every time changing, arising, changing, rising, changing, arise and change, arise and change. So that we call Chitta, Cetasika, Rupa are Sankhara Dhamma. Sankhara Dhamma means changing. We cannot say don't be changed. We cannot order. They not follow our order. Anicca means changing. Impermanence means they not accept our order. We don't want to become the old. We don't want to become the dead. We don't want to become the bad healthy. But Chitta, Chittasika, Rupa not follow our order, so that we call impermanence. We have to accept also conventional truth and ultimate truth. Because conventional truth, we should accept it, but every time changing. Conventional truth also every time changing. This is the book. If I make the powder, it has become the powder. So book means name. Name, it is the conventional truth. In the world, people use, this is the book. If I make another thing, if I broke this book and make the powder, book is lost. This name is lost, and name are changing book to powder. So changing, every time changing is we call conventional truth. Ultimate truth means which one is never changing from their original processing. What is their original processing? Consciousness, every time know, and mental factor help to know to the consciousness, and matter, rupa. Rupa means also every time changing. These three things are every time changing. They never change from their processing. Nibbana means no chitta, no chittasika, no rupa. Because if we live together chitta, chittasika, rupa, we live together the suffering. Because it is every time changing. Every time changing. It is suffering. Okay, it is the life. But Nibbana means no life. Life is suffering, no life, no suffering. So first chapter in Abhidhamma Sangaha, Chitta, consciousness. So how many consciousness? In short, 89. If we explain in detail, 121 kind of consciousness, 121st type of consciousness. If in the shortly 89 type of consciousness. This is one way. And another way also explain so many methods, and also 4 type of consciousness or 4 classes of consciousness. Actually, we must know consciousness all are 121, but which consciousness belong the which life? Sensual sphere, form sphere, and formless sphere, and supermundane. So sensual sphere means heaven wall, human wall. Heaven wall, human wall, and form misery wall. In hell, in the peta, in the animal life. So we call sensual being, sensual spirits. So kama means sensual. There are 54. Form sphere means rupa, 15. Formless sphere means arupa, 12. And lokotara is in short 8. In short 8. So if we count 41, 15, 12, 8, it has become 89. If we count in detail, 54, 15, 12, and here we not count the 8. We count in detail is 40. So all together are 54, 15, 12 and 40 are become 122. Different types, different method to make understand how about the consciousness. So Chitta, first topics in Abhidhamma Sangaha, consciousness. So we can know at the first topics how many type of consciousness and how they printing 31 wall, 31st wall. How many consciousness printing to the sensual being, how many consciousness printing to the forms beings in the Brahma wall, how many consciousness printing to the formless spirit beings, formless spirits, it is mean Arupa Brahma wall. How many consciousness related to the Nibbana, how many consciousness deal with the Nibbana, something like that. Explain another way, how many wall and what kind of consciousness at that wall. So I am a human, so I am not holiness, I am a sensual being. Still I have sensual attachment, carving and angry, like that. So now I live together this 54 kind of consciousness. I never attain this kind of consciousness because I am not at Brahma wall. So I am not in Arupa Brahma wall. So still I not attain this level. So I live together, now I live together this 54 type of consciousness. So consciousness printing to the sensual sphere. Sensual means we are. Now still we have desire. So we live together the lower level consciousness and a little higher and super mundane consciousness is Lokottara, which one is only deal with the Nibbana. So higher level consciousness. And also another way explain about this consciousness, again another types, unwholesome, wholesome, resultant and functional. All 121 consciousness divide in 4 groups, divide in 4 classes, divide in 4 types: unwholesome, wholesome, resultant and functional. Actually it is want to explain different classes of consciousness, different type of consciousness. Consciousness means only one meaning, but how many classes of consciousness? Which consciousness belong the which wall? Human wall, heaven wall, Brahma wall, which level? So explain very detailedly in Abhidhamma Sangaha. And when we understood in detail what is the consciousness, how many type of consciousness, when we know all consciousness, and then we going to the second chapter, mental factor or mental stage at Abhidhamma Sangaha, and then we try to understand consciousness and mental factor, how they are processing. and explain the 3 topics about consciousness and mental factor processing. And then chapter number 6 explain again what is the matter, and all are we know, and slowly we can know what is the liberation. And when we finish Abhidhamma Sangaha, easy to study Abhidhamma Pitaka, we can read ourselves without the teacher, and we can practice meditation without the teacher, so that Abhidhamma Sangaha is really benefit books for every people. So that I want to invite all of you to listening Abhidhamma class. I will explain slowly, in detail. I know from the book, from the teacher. I want to share again to all of you who try to listen this class, this teaching. Everyone slowly will understand the higher teaching of the Buddha. So that I want to request everyone, please try to listen this Dhamma, try to understand what I am talking, what I am explaining. I want to share to you because it is really great teaching. Not only me, but also we all are must to know. When we know this knowledge, very easy to live in the world, very freedom and very peaceful and very happiness. So that I want to all of you to become happy from this teaching. We have to give intention because it is higher teaching. So enough for today. I will continue in detail in the next lecture. Thank you so much.